Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM20 Career Mode, episode 181. I'm going to attempt the impossible. I'm going to attempt a one and done with La Vuelta. Now, we did that with the Tour de France, but not in any successful sort of manner. We just did it out of force. Well, I'm trying to actually get a good GC position in La Vuelta, so it's a totally different manner. I am going to have to rely on the quick sim a lot for that to be in any way, shape, or form possible. Also, we're going to have to keep this introduction very light to be able to get into the racing to try to maximize the opportunities there somehow, some form, some way. I don't know. Stage 1, team time trial, but very short. It was only 12K. Stage 10, 34K, punchy individual time trial. 9 was the first of just 5 climbing stages, and then it finishes with a 10K individual time trial. So 3 TTs in all, amounting to 60% of that of the mountain stages. A lot of flat and punchy hill stages. We are not going to participate in those in any way, shape, or form. And, well, we're going to get a limited bit on that as well. Right now, we are already on stage 10. Stage 10 is where we sit at the moment. And you can see a few problems, but also a couple good things. We have 3 riders in form on Fitness Peaks, including Hillary Breck, who was not supposed to be the leader here, but now sits in second place as we enter the time trial, which is his strength, and going in with a +3, so maybe can do something, and ultimately we're gonna have to ride for him, because then we have 4 riders with this sped up season not properly managing their fitness levels. We have 4 riders that are effed up right now. A -5 for Mark Cook. I took care of that about 6 weeks ago so that he would be ready for this race. And yet he is crazy fatigued and at 80% fitness level. So yeah, that didn't work out at all. With both AFP and Kolda among those who are messed up, the leader for this race is obvious, not because he did well in the Giro of those trio, but because guaranteed his fitness is going to be far better than theirs. Let's get into the stage. Here we go, ready to set off with Hillary Breck, who sits second overall as we hit the main time trial, but one of just 3 in this race. So far, though, I've through trial and error, gauged things pretty well with Kolk. Noah Kolk sits 3rd overall, just 16 seconds off of Beau Freeze. So Sivikov also same time at 46 flat. Kolk really close to that. So we've got it figured out on what kind of effort is necessary. A poor time trialist can get away with a 77 for the entirety. You go deficit because Sector 1 is all uphill, but then Sector 2 is mostly downhill, and Sector 3 is somewhat downhill. You've got quite a bit of recovery time, so you can go harder than that standard 76, but how much harder was really tricky to figure out. And a good time trialist can do about a 78 through most. A poor time trialist can do a 77 all the way through. So Kolda, who is a terrible time trialist, but good on the mountain, we went ahead and went a little harder on Sector 1 with that 78. You can see we back off now to try to get him back on track to the finish. He's going to lose some time, but Baranja coming up on the finish with that 77 throughout, and here he is in perfect place. The last few hundred meters is mostly downhill. You can kind of cruise through. He ends up 416 down, but that's not because of a poor performance. Now, a lot of -5s. Moreno, Cook, both -5. AFP had a -4, so they didn't put it in great time. AFP, who should have been near the top of the standings, just 20th overall. But here comes Kolda towards the line, 2K to go. And you can see we've recovered enough, and he'll be able to push in towards the finish. Attack, and 32nd. Now, Breck, rest of the way. First time check, 6th place, 26 seconds down. Good climber, not a great time trialist, but he's on good condition with a +1. It's not fantastic, but it's enough. And you can see he's almost level now. 76 would definitely conserve because of the slightly downhill. 77 does just enough to get him kind of back on track towards the finish. And we were able to go 78 most of the way here. And we should be able to finish strong in that final kilometer, or at least just about. This section is fairly flat. And that's just enough where push, attack the finish. And good. 10th place. 10th place. Minute 8 down. Only one rider left to go is Lemacel, who is not a good time trialist. Should lose quite a bit of time. Lemacel is 3:03 down, so we'll definitely be ahead of him. Rodriguez, though, sits third. Mernick won the stage. And yeah, Rodriguez is here too. So Sivakov is here. Kolk stayed in the top 10 in 7th. Pogacar is 8th. Paulus is 9th. And Breck 10th. Very, very close among those guys. We'll lose some time to a few contenders, but otherwise, there you go. Rodriguez now leads. Breck remains second, just 18 seconds down on his not former teammate. Breck's new to the team. Pogacar sits third. Champison, Safonov round out the top 5. Gianpaolo Tentoni also into the top 10. So our 2 former top stage racers all in this race against our new top stage racer. With just 3 77s and a handful of 76s left available that haven't signed up for next season already, we're looking just about certain on our position now index-wise. 78 points still. Same setup just about a month later here, and 15th. That's about where I would expect us to finish up this year, right? We've been just in those last 2 slots, 18, 19, for the last couple of seasons. Last 3 seasons now, something like that. And this then finally starts to bump us up a little bit, but 15th is still not great. That's how competitive World Tour is these days. It is so difficult to get in, and it's even more difficult to stay in as every year Peloton gets a little bit stronger. But now, with the majority of the better riders all signed, it's starting to look relatively secure on position. You could see us dropping 1 or 2 positions at most. You can see us rising a position or 2 depending on development. But we should be somewhere between 13th and 17th at the end of this thing when all is said and done in a month and a half. Are you ready for a blur? We're on stage 14. And that's about what you're going to get here in just a moment. We're going to zip on up this big Category 1 climb, but then we've got to cruise right along till the finish. So here comes the blur effect, as in it's going to be sped up pretty fast.
The finish line is getting
We'll
close.
see if I remember to use the time lapse or if we just went straight and cut forward to where we are. But we are now just 5 kilometers from the finish. Kolda, Kolk, Baranja, and Breck among a peloton of a total of 48 riders. 4 in the break, and here comes Bernal attacking. He's going for things. He sits second overall. CCC really the one who needs to respond to that, but I'm trying to manage the squad as a whole, and so far so good on that. Bernal is, yes, a little bit ahead, but as we get to the crazy steep section here with 2.7k to go, we've got to now push and keep going. Kolda, Kolk still in position. Baranja and Breck still in position. 2k to go now, so we've really got to push on. Kolda really speeding up. We've caught the breakaway, 1.8k. Now we're getting into the punchy territory. Kolda needs to try to attack from here. 1.5, we were doing just fine. Is that? No, it's Schrodel. I thought it was our old friend bringing about a difficult day for us. Okay, Kolda, done. Kolk. He needs to sprint here. 1.3k. Can he even get past Kolda? Not really. He only brought us up to it. 1K to go, though, and we're looking at Breck still having plenty for that final push, but what kind of support is he going to get? He's going to really be able to attack this thing. He's pretty punchy. He's going to fight his way up through this group. But that's it. That was it, red bar. That was all the red bar he had as we approach the top. He is not going to take a win today. Green jersey, that's Pogacar, Lemesel, Bernal, Breck right here in this next group. Tantoni, Hershey. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Rodriguez was 12th, so he actually struggled a little bit today. We could improve our position, possibly. We'll see what this final result is. 24, 25, and 30 for our other trio. Seconds, the deficit, large group there. So that's going to be a lot of riders on the same time, including Rodriguez. So we don't actually gain anything over him, unfortunately, but that front group do gain a little bit of time. But Breck's still in a strong position, still on a podium right now, where we were going from 5th with a hard-fought Giro. Here we are at La Vuelta in a pretty decent place. Rodriguez still leads, Breck still 2nd. Pogacar gains a little bit of time. They're in 3rd, Champeson 4th, Safonov rounding out the top 5. And I've pushed all the way to the final stage, so we've gone past the other 4 mountain stages. Breck not in as strong of a position as he was, but he still sits 4th. Minute 58 down on Pavel Rodriguez, our former man who is looking to retain the red jersey because he did win that last year as well. So he's looking to again do a double in Tour at La Vuelta and looks poised to do that. Breck, meanwhile, it's really tight to the podium and to a couple spots behind us. So can Breck, who's actually looking fairly good at the moment, can Breck put in a decent time here and maybe get somewhere? He's got a +1. He's one of only 2 riders with a positive race day condition. Our net today was about a -14. It was ugly race day condition as he's going to push 99 for the finish line. And 38 seconds down in 22nd. Probably not going to do much with that sort of time. Pogacar goes higher. Rodriguez went 10th. So we'll see where the other guys finished at. Sijek takes the stage. And the final standings, 5th place, 3 seconds down on Safonov. But it is another top 5. And almost comfortable as Gianpaolo Tantoni, our other former guy, finishes 6th. That's the highest we've seen for him. Danny Martinez in 8th. Lemesel took 10th. Paulus outside of the top 10. Andrade outside of the top 10. Surprising place for them to be. Simon Yates all the way down in 15th. Pogacar onto the podium, up in a 2nd. He scooted his way up and basically swapped places with Breck over those final 4 climbing stages. And then today, ultimately, you can see just how close I was. 2:20 down. That's not a bad time. Not bad at all. But this La Vuelta is definitely not the Giro. Definitely not the Tour. On paper, this was a much easier Tour, and that's why Breck was able to keep it much closer without us at the helm for much of it. And with such poor team support, still pull off a decent finish and get a top 5 in Grand Tour. So the rookie, well, for us anyway, Breck, just 22 years of age, technically a puncher, but with that 81 mountain, that's really his main thing, that and recovery. He's not quite there. And he's the last of our big time riders to advance a level. We're now up to 7 on the current squad, +1 with next year's guy. That are 77 and above. So we're now pushing 8 riders at 77 and above, and Breck is one of the last ones on that list. That is going to do it for this episode, though. We've made it through the Giro. Rodriguez has now aged out of the under 25s category, so Breck did win that. So there's something good. Kolda and Kolk both in the top 5 as well. We got 2nd as a team with the win in that going to the former AG2R, which is now Pavel Rodriguez's team. So they won the day when it came to that. But we beat Jumbo Visma, we beat Pepsi, we beat Ineos. So yeah, we're good. we're good. We crushed CCC. They were well down. This is much tighter than the other Grand Tours would be, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button. I'll see you next time. We're going to be wrapping this season up pretty soon. We've got the World Championships. We've got Il Lombardia. That's probably it. One more episode. Yeah, one to go. PCM20 right around the corner. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.